I am Erin Friedline with Riley County Police Department. Growing up, I knew I was from a small community, knew the local sheriff, and the reason I actually got intrigued was back then we had DARE, and my DARE officer happened to be a female police officer, and she was amazing. She came in and was so confident and lively and full of energy, and I just was mesmerized by her and thought, I want to be like her. So then moving forward, when I came to Kansas State University, I wanted to pursue criminology because I knew that would give me the basis then to maybe understand crime and disorder and move forward with that career with a better basis to eventually be a police officer and apply that knowledge. Dr. Finnegan once taught, like a homicide type, CSI type class where we actually got to go to an autopsy and see some very amazing, cool things, and you actually got to see something that I've never seen before and realized I could handle that, and that's something I was interested in, to try and solve that mystery in that class, but kind of see the right person come to justice after, the alleged homicide occurred. And, there's various other, you'll have juvenile classes which kind of give you a better understanding of our youth and understanding their mental capacity and what they're going through, and learning about their development and understanding they're not fully competent yet to understand all the decision and consequences they're making when they're still young, and how that should maybe go against them or not go against them as they move forward as adults and try and redirect their career aspirations or change a course of action in that regard. And then I even took like a Women in Policing Society. That was inspiring to me too, just to see and learn about other women that were then police chiefs too, and how they worked on their leadership skills and what they did in order to move through the ranks and be sound and confident in what they were achieving at their departments too. So you had the gamut of things from juveniles to adults to even a class about women in policing, and then, like I said, a crime scene type class too. That was very intriguing. What I know now, even about criminology and how much Riley County Police Department works with the criminology department to moving forward. We've engaged them with community surveys and then brought them in for recognizing what we can do to impact crime and trying to use evidence, which the professors are going to use in their solid research and what they do to try and support RCPD and their efforts in this community too. But it's awesome to me to go back and work with professors that I had years ago, and they can see what I've been able to accomplish in my career, and we'd have a very good hands-on approach with that. And way back we had a criminology club. I assume they still do have a criminology club, so they would bring in guest speakers, and it'd always be somebody on occasion from the police department amongst other people in the community. So we still do those. I've done those talks before where you get to meet the people actually trying to do the clubs and see what policing's really about, and that way we can encourage the ride-alongs and things like that to actually come. It's never like it is on TV, so you always gotta come and sit and see the paperwork side of things and the court process and understand all that before you really get your feet going. Learn about some socioeconomic things and those strains, and just understanding all the factors. It's not just an individual doing one wrong thing. I mean, there can be so much more to that, and especially when you're trying to work with a community, try and solve some problems. You can't just get rid of a larceny problem in and of itself without making some other changes in that community and trying to address that. And I think that's the advantage that I have from my education at K-State in the criminology department, is they provide you those tools to understand, and by getting a degree and a 4-year degree, you've learned all those bases of the different backgrounds and ethnicities and things that you're going to interact with, and understand the different cultures are going to behave differently. And me as a female police officer, I have to be cognizant of what some other cultures may think of me coming into their household, or if I don't remove my shoes, and what that looks like. And I think K-State's able to prepare you for that, because it's a diverse college and you see a lot of that, and then you'll have the diversity in your classes too, where you can have some discussions about that and learn about it too, and then be able to apply it now in my current day-to-day job and street knowledge that I have. It was awesome experience to be able to have a better baseline to start with. One of the biggest things I find in my job right now is my ability to communicate. And that's one thing that, going back to your college education, you may get frustrated having to write so many papers or do that, but the whole idea behind that is learning how to read and inform yourself and do some research in order to make a good decision with that. And I do that all the time in my job. I have to try and come up with new ideas or innovate in some way, so I need to go and be able to research that, take the different parts of it that I think are applicable, put that together in an organized fashion, and then present that information to my command staff. I mean, so the communication piece, all those papers I ever wrote in college and I had to do research, it happens in your real life, in your real career, and I am so thankful for being pushed to do all that I can now use it in an articulate manner and be well-spoken in that regard when I can say, no, here's the research, this is a good idea, this is why we should move forward. And then I'm able to even create implementation plans too as you kind of progress through that. And those are things that you just learned in college of how would you apply this? What would you do? What would that look like? K-State Criminology program really prepared me for leadership here and being a supervisor and continuing my career in that way, because I've always been able to effectively communicate, especially on paper in my presentations. As you can imagine, we write everything, so you can't have text or anything like that. I mean, these got to be well-written, well-organized reports, and we'll check them for grammar and accuracy and everything else, because I mean, you could ultimately be testifying to that, and you don't want a defense attorney to read your bad grammar or something like that. You want to sound professional, and that's one thing I appreciate about K-State is they made me a professional.